Hi, everybody. I'm always like surprised when it works. I'm like, woo, okay. There is so much about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard that it's like, so I have one of the things that I wanted to tell y'all. I've got a new computer, and so I'm trying to regulate it. But there's just so forgive me if I'm like still moving around or trying to get this working right. So a couple things that I want to tell you. I have a ton of notes, so I'm going to go through some notes, and then I'm going to, after I've gone through some of the things that I want to tell y'all, then I'm going to kind of open it up and take a peek at what you guys are saying and things like that. Now, bear with me because, obviously when I'm reading or I'm looking at something, it's easier for me to stop and see if it's a super chat or something because it comes up, but I will look at other comments as well. So just so you know, there's going to be both, but there you go. So that's that. Yay, Kung Fu Panda. Hi, guys. Some of you are like chiming in. I know I picked Mother's Day. So, and I purposely did that because I thought, well, this is a very interesting time because Amber Heard has recently become a mother, and I think we know who the father is. So we're going to talk about that as well. And there's quite a few things that I want to unpack. First of all, seeing Amber Heard on the stand and seeing some of her mugging, there's a couple things she does. She goes like this. She does this thing that I've seen young girls do when they're very sweet and they're going, it's a sweetness. It's kind of a thing where they're pretending they're thinking something through. The other thing that Amber Heard does on the stand and has done, and I'm going to unpack the testimony, and I want to let you know, I am someone who's abused as well. So I have been abused in the past, not recent, thank God. And the thing I want to tell you all is that I am finding myself really having more empathy with Johnny Depp. And I'm kind of relating to him more because I find that the abusers, or let me put it this way, the victims tend to blame themselves more than they blame the abuser. Do you notice that? So what happens is they go, well, we can go back to the Petito case, right? Gabby, she was saying, well, I did hit him or I did do this. The one who's the victim, and this is something I really picked up, I learned from each case, and I think you guys do too, and I think that's the important thing. We have to, as a community, begin to learn from some of the things that are happening, because you know what? This whole idea that it only happens to women, big lie, big lie. And I think that the thing that happens is the one who's abused is often saying, yeah, I did do that, or yes, that did happen. I think it's the abuser that really makes it go, look, I didn't do anything. And there's something I want to bring up right away that I'm going to say hi to some people and I'll come back. One of the things I want to say is, in Amber's testimony, she talks about the incident where Johnny Depp lost his finger, lost the tip of his finger, not the whole finger, thank God. But, and in that day, and she talks about it. What's fascinating to me is she says, and guys, you probably remember this if you saw it. If you didn't, she talks about how there was glass and blood because he was writing in blood on different things, and he then dipped it in paint and he was writing in messages in paint. And we know that he was probably pretty faced to the wind. The point I'm making with all of you is that she talks about glass and blood everywhere. And she also says she's barefoot. I want to know how somebody in their own testimony says, I was slipping and sliding in blood. There was glass everywhere. But isn't it funny? We don't have one photo of her feet, not one cut on her feet. The other thing that's fascinating is there's another piece of testimony she gives where she says that she had 2 black eyes. She thought her nose was possibly broken. She had a busted lip, And there's something else that I'm forgetting, but she testifies to that effect on a particular day. And the very next night, she's on James Corden's show, and there's not a bruise within miles on her face. So what I want to tell you is that we are not seeing things in congruent order. We see an accusation, but then we actually don't see, other than the conversations she's taped, we really don't see any of, really, I've got to tell you, anything that's supporting her story. I just am not seeing that congruence. I don't doubt that he said mean things to her. I mean, I said, listen, I'm someone that doesn't say mean things. Like, I'm that kind of person, but I have said mean things when I've been attacked, and that person doesn't understand anything else. And you sink to that level. So I'm gonna take a look, say hi, and then I'm gonna go to my notes, and we're gonna go the, oh, her hair being pulled out. Sharon just said her hair being pulled out. Absolutely. Hello. Where, like, I think she had a picture of a clump of hair, but on the next night on James Corden's show, her hair looked fine to me. In fact, her hair is gorgeous, right? She has gorgeous hair. You got to give that to her. I agree, Kristen. It does make me, it makes me very upset, and I didn't expect it to, but I think that because there are those of us who really have been abused, me not to the degree of other people, I won't grant it, but the truth is that false testimony hurts every victim. Any kind of false testimony. And I think that Amber is desperate to belong. And if you look at that in terms of, we women have this thing, I think there's got to be a thing of, like, us having a child out of wedlock. We've had children out of wedlock for a long time, Amber, way before you came on the scene. Okay. And I think the thing is that there's all the indications, and I'm using that lightly because I want to be clear what you're hearing today, my opinion, but there's every indication that that child is part of the frozen embryos that where they fertilized. Anyway, they were part of the embryos that she and Elon Musk put aside. He was trying to get a court order for her to destroy them. She fought it. So who do you think that baby belongs to? Okay. It's funny. Kung Fu just said she seems like a cluster B. I don't know what all that means, but I believe you. Kristen says, I work in an inpatient psychiatric hospital. I've seen horrible hair pulls. There's blood, injury to the scalp. I'm glad you said that, because I don't see the evidence. There's one other thing, you guys, that this is why I got on today. When you steal someone else's victim story and make it your own. Okay. I just want to say a couple things to everybody. I just want to say hi to Nikki. Nikki sent me this fabulous photograph she did and framed it, and it's amazing. Just amazing. Thank you for that. Let me see. And I owe you a convo anyway, Nikki. Jaya said, been thinking of you, glad to see you. I'm glad to see all of you. Hey, Grandma Moses, what's going on? Oh, Linda. Hey, baby doll, how are you? Petty. Australia's in the house, guys. Australia's in the house. That's Arwen. Woo! Hi. Hi, Tony. Just want to say hi to a couple of people. This is my hi moment where I say hi. Okay, so let's go on with a few things here that I think are going to be important to this discussion. Amber also mentioned her nightgown was torn. She describes the nightgown, and it very bizarre, like it was this beautiful blah, blah, it was just kind of like, I don't know that I would describe the nightgown like that. If somebody ripped a nightgown off me and was coming at me as a predator, I probably would say, and I've said this, when my abuser broke something that I found very important. Oh my God, you broke my grandmother's, I'm so angry, but I don't remember going on about, I don't know, like the way she talked about it. Something is in there, but I'm going to keep going. I know what I was going to say. So her assistant, do you remember her assistant when she was on the stand, the British woman who was just amazing and kind of like, She obviously didn't like Amber. Okay, I'm just going to say that. She also called, Amber called her former assistant a drunk. And I do feel, I want to get this woman's name because I do see. Also, the thing I want to say, and I'm going to read something that Johnny sent to her because I think that's important. Where is her name? I had pages and pages of notes. Okay. Okay. Let's see. James. Okay. The assistant. Do you remember her? Her last name is James. What was her first name? Is it Jane? I can't remember. Or did I put Jane accused her? Okay. This is super important. In another witness statement, Amber's former assistant, do you guys remember her name? I just want to see if somebody remembers her name. Hey, hi, Raphael. Okay, so the assistant who testified that Amber underpaid her and abused her, Kate James, that's what it is, because I have James up here. So I was like, it's not the name James. Thank you, the thug for life. Okay. So Kate James accused her of stealing her own horrific personal experience of surviving a rape in Brazil. Check this out. In the statement, James stated, and this is again her Amber's personal assistant, when I was 26 years old, sound familiar, the same age? Okay. And traveling in Brazil, I was violently raped by an unknown male at machete point, having been woken by the perpetrator while sleeping alone in my dwelling. The ordeal went on for hours. I narrowly escaped my life. The torture, I'm not going to read every second of it. This torturous experience of such extreme sexual violence has haunted me ever since and permanently changed the trajectory of my life to this day, she stated. She went on to reveal that while perusing documents for Depp's libel case, she discovered that Ms. Heard had in fact stolen, quote, my sexual violence conversation with her twist to it and added it to her own story to benefit herself. This, of course, caused me extreme distress and outrage that she would dare to attempt to use the most harrowing experience of my life as her own narrative. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is classic of what we're seeing with Amber Heard and the hate she's getting. Now, the thing I want to say to you is there is a very powerful dynamic between she and Depp. And truthfully, the thing to remember, and there's this wonderful moment, I have to tell you, do you remember, I don't know if you guys, I have watched everything that's ever been created. I think I'm like this for hours, and I'm supposed to be working on my business, and that's why it's a mess. But anyway, okay, this is the key to this moment, and I want you to get this energetically. Amber's sitting there. Her hair is just straight. She's trying to answer a question. You can tell the legal teams are on either side. And this is the deposition. This is the part where they're getting the statements from Amber and all these pre-trial, right? So Amber is sitting there like this. And both sides are like, objection. Oh, you can't say that. And then they're going into like, it feels like a volley of anger, right? So the I don't know which side's defense, I don't know which side is playing it, but they're kind of going on both sides, and they're yelling and shouting, and you've got to watch Amber's face, okay? She is in her element. There is a strange comfort when people are fighting. And energetically, guys, they're fighting over her, right? Fighting over her. You know, her own mother said that Amber was violent. Amber there's something that I feel that has to be said, which is that, you know, it goes back to, you know, we've talked about, you guys have mentioned narcissism forever. And, you know, I don't really kind of use those terms because I'm not a professional in that way, but there is something about that need for the violence, that need. And there is something that is, and I can't use a term for it because I'm not a professional. I mean, those of you that are, you know, but what I can say is what I see in layman's terms, which is she needs that level of excitement, that level of passion, so to speak. And fighting to some people is love. You know, the thing is that you have to remember that her father was a violent alcoholic. So if we go to the idea that if she could cure Johnny, she's cured her dad, you know, she's going to get in there and fight in the way that she couldn't as a child. So this is playing out stuff, right? This is not. And the other thing that I really have to say, I know this is going to sound strange, but on Amber's behalf, is that I don't really think that there are parts that she realizes are fake. Now, bear with me. There are many moments in the trial, and just from behavior, guys, just, I've studied a little bit, and I'm trying to get this so I'm like on camera. Okay. I've studied the behavior just a little bit, enough to make me dangerous anyway. But one of the things that I know this from when I've done, when I'm trying to remember things or memorization, you look up as if you're trying to memorize lines. I can't tell you how many times, and I used to cue my dad, like with run lines with him. And if you've ever run lines with an actor, you read your lines, and they're often going like this. Yes, the night is correct. And then you say, but tomorrow's another day. And they go, yes, tomorrow is another day. They're looking up because they're remembering the lines. They're trying to remember something they're supposed to have memorized. And that's a very big actor thing. And I think that when we look at that, and we look up like that, especially as actors, now, not everybody, sometimes people are like trying to remember it, but I believe that a lot of the things that Amber is recalling are things that happened to other people that she might have witnessed. And as I say that, I think that, these are two people that are trying to play things out. I'm going to talk about the one thing later in my other video. I also want to let you guys know I'm going to start posting when I'm going to go live, but only to my subscribers, because, I feel like you need to know when I'm going to be going live and when I'm posting things. So that way, if someone stumbles on, that's fine. But let me take a look. Oh gosh, yeah, the baby. Okay. AH is very vindictive. She threw in those derogatory jabs at Kate James while on the stand to get back at her for Kate telling the truth about Heard's true character. But Amber's done that with everybody. And the other thing that happens with those who are abused, I don't know about you, but like, you don't look at the person. You don't even want to look in the person's eyes. If you've ever seen the testimony of someone who's frightened of the villain on the stand, they're not going to look. And in fact, in a lot of the dramas you see on TV, they try to stand between, or they try to get between. They always say, the prosecutor says, look at me, not them, right? Look at me, look at me. And that's because someone who's victimized, they don't want to look at the abuser. Did you notice that through Amber's entire testimony, Depp is like this? Or like this, looking at the video? He is not looking at her. He is so over her. He doesn't even want to look at her. And what's fascinating is she keeps looking at him, and she plays to the jury. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but I want to say one other thing, which is while he was on the stand, she had the most neutral face I've ever seen. I don't know about you guys, but I could not have that kind of poker face. If somebody's lying about me, I'm going to be going, I know that I would have been told, oh, don't do that. But like, we do that. The other thing is that really is what was I going to talk about? Okay, I'm going to move on. All right, let's see. Yeah, here we go. Nobody wants to testify for her side. Yeah, St. Mal said, I did notice that. Do you love that she copies his outfits the next day? There's a very interesting thing that is that you see, she does copy his outfits, but more than that, she's also copying the outfits of people who she thinks the jury saw as cool. Now, I don't know about you, but Depp's therapist, who actually met Amber, the one that they hired, she met Amber. And so she was able to tell us that, the things she said, which was the, I don't know, did she say sociopathic? No, she didn't. She said something else. She labeled Amber two particular things. She said Amber had the criteria for that. Now, the next day, or when Amber was actually on the stand, Amber's hair was almost identically done, like to the side and everything, like the therapist that Depp hired. Now, part of that is to align, right? So you how do you say subliminally. You're subliminally looking at Amber at the same level of expert as you respected the last expert. So think about it. The last expert who was really on the stand that was damning to Amber was that woman, the therapist. So when Amber's on and she has her hair that way, now of course the other woman had it like literally like it looked like she rolled out of bed and it made her look like extremely real, right? She looked so real. And I was like, woo. But the thing is that she talked about what she perceived in Amber. Now, Amber's therapist, let's get the scroll out. I mean, come on. Really? You never met Johnny Depp. You've only heard what Amber told you. And Amber, I've got to tell you, she's probably one of the best liars I've ever seen. I've never seen that level except in like, well, I Jussie Smollett. Definitely. Like he has that, I didn't do anything, I don't know what you're talking about kind of thing. And it's like, what happens too is when you get so far and you have to stick with your lie, right? You can't change that, you know? So let's see. She diagnosed her. Oh, thank you, Laura. Laura Lampy said she diagnosed her with histrionic and borderline. Oh my gosh. Okay. Borderline. I lived with it. I know what borderline is. It's borderline is fascinating too. There's some stuff in there that's kind of like, remember, look, I said I'm not a therapist, right? I'm not, but I am intuitive and I do work with language energetically. And so when I hear border, line, when someone's on a borderline, think about this for a minute. They could go either way, which makes someone extremely dangerous because they can just switch. It's like this borderline. They can go this way, they can go this way. And I'm not going to say who, but one of the people who abused me, I found out we had done how can I put it so that you don't, we'd both done a course, and let me put it this way, we weren't at the course at the same time, but a couple of years later, he was in a class with a friend of mine, and he said, oh my gosh, I lied through that whole therapy thing. And he thought it was cool. Now, I think that because of Depp's situation, when I say situation, I say that, his addiction, and, I think that Amber knew at this point, because you have to remember, when you're an adult child of an alcoholic, right, you are the victim of this. You are in this situation where you're looking at both sides, right? And I have to tell you, when you look at an alcoholic and you look at the Al-Anon is what they call it, the codependent, right? There's a big difference, guys, between codependent and interdependent. Interdependent is a very healthy communication. Codependent means that you depend upon this other person, right? An alcoholic, and this is just my experience, the alcoholic has been in my thing, now remember, borderline, I have witnessed the non-alcoholic be more crazed than the alcoholic at times. Now, that doesn't mean it's always true. Remember this, that at any time, anyone can play these roles. So it's really hard to just say, oh, that person's this, that person's borderline, or that person is, I don't know, whatever. The minute you say somebody's autistic or somebody's this, people jump into the pond with, oh, that's not right because they did this. Well, there's really no rule. There was no rule when we talk about somebody like Ted Bundy, right? There's no rule. We didn't say, oh, that didn't happen because Bundy didn't do that. Well, we don't really know. Bundy got out of prisons. I mean, these people that are dangerous like this, they get away with saying stuff and they just believe it. Like Amber saying, oh, there was so much blood and there was just so much glass. And I remember, the television and the coffee cup and the television. That was mentioned too. And what was fascinating is that when you watch Johnny Depp and they said, so, Mr. Depp, did you, she said something about the throwing, he threw the coffee cup at the television. And he said, I remember the coffee cup being lodged in the television. It was, he kind of called it art. And I just, the thing is that he's not denying that there was some crazy crap he did. And that's I think that's what makes him more believable for me, is that he doesn't at all say that he is blameless. And the other thing that I notice, the person that is the abused person, okay, the person that's abused, they don't get over it like that. All right. So what happens is when the abuser, by the next day, the abuser's like, oh, I'm fine. So you can watch them on the red carpet and you can see that Johnny is like pissed at her. He's angry and he'll like just say something or whatever. And she's like, because you see, she doesn't care. To her, she got that out. It's over. And she scarred him, and he's kind of like, and then there's the picture of them on their honeymoon. I think his eye met a door where he has a black eye. There's some very deep stuff, and I kind of went into it, but I don't want to really discuss it today. I'm going to do it in another video on the why of Johnny Depp and what he has to do. But I want to get, let's see, embedding time. Johnny's team wrote down as much detail as they could because there's no way in heck she'll remember all of the lies she's told. See, you know what? You guys, I love Judge Judy, right? You know that I think Judge Judy is the bomb diggity bomb, right? So when I look at Judge Judy and I think to myself, oh my gosh, Judge Judy, because she'll say, don't lie. It's easier to remember if you tell the truth. Well, the thing that Amber is doing is she tells just enough truth to make it sound real. And that's where, I talked about this on an early video. I don't know if some of you have been with me that long, but the thing is that there's a twisty, right? People twist stuff. Remember I was talking about how, I don't even remember what it was, but you'd say one thing and they would twist the meaning of it to mean something else. And the truth is that that's what Amber is well rehearsed at, is twisting the truth so that she can then cancel Johnny Depp. The problem with this is that the wave of that cancel and twisting the truth is going out the window. We're all getting sick of it. Oh, by the way, she didn't have a broken nose. She actually said, I think it's broken. And that's very different. Oh, Belle, I'm glad you said that. Belle Murray just said, that is exactly what Bundy said, though. Once he had done something, he considered it over and done. It no longer mattered. That's exactly what happens with Amber. Now, the other thing is, and let's see, every single criminal has a personality disorder. Kung Fu, right on. Okay. Not an excuse for abusive behavior. She's looking for sympathy. Many of us have been abused. You choose if you become an abuser yourself. Yes. And, we can say, and this is a big word, the psychopathy, I learned that in school. The psychopathy of everybody is different. Even when I work with multi-generational healing, and I have the Watts case done. That's something. I want to look at that as well, but different conversation. When I look at multi-generational healing and how it happens in the family and what people need to do to work to get away from it, one of the things that I think is very, very powerful here is that Amber is playing out parts of abuse that were so painful. They were pre-verbal, guys, that these were things she could not, think about this, as a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old, a lot of times you don't have the vocabulary to go, this is what happened. So that level of pain, okay, is what she's trying to recreate so that she can heal it. And I know that's Psychology 101, but I want you to get that what she's doing is living out loud her wounding for everyone to see. And we unfortunately, we look at this just in a court and we go, okay, Johnny's here, Amber's here. So what happens? These two people have to play out their stuff. What happens when the relationship starts going like this is because one person is no longer playing the same role. Now, what you've seen is that Depp is not playing that game. You know, I said this before, but I really think he had the abuse beaten out of him. I know that sounds odd to say, but it's kind of like there comes to a point where you were abused so much that you can look back and recognize, there are other people now I have to care about. He said his kids, and the truth is in this that if we can get to a point where we recognize that Johnny Depp deserves his life back, I need to say that to you. But there's another thing he needs to do. And again, I want to get to that later because it's a longer conversation. I know I've kind of said it, but I want to just be clear here that there are people who committed less egregious things that also need to be free. I'm thinking of Lori Loughlin for an example, just because, all right, she did her time. Can I see her back on that on my favorite Hallmark little, movie? I mean, give me a break. Let's see. I have no idea how to at anyone on their comments. Okay. I don't know what that means. Our talk is like a confession. Yeah, exactly, St. Mole. See, when we talk about things, and this is the difference between women and men. As women, we will talk about things again and again. In fact, we talk about it until we have worked it out. Like we work it out verbally. Okay, we work it out by talking about it. But we work it out by repeating things, which is not necessarily great in court. But Johnny has a timeline, which is very different. And there is the question of, would these people protect him? I think they would, but I think, meaning his handlers, I do think they would. I think they care a great deal about him, but I think that they didn't answer anything that they were not asked. And some of those things don't pertain to this case. This case is really about, was she an abuser or was she not an abuser? I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. Did she act out of malice? And from what I'm seeing, everything she has done has been out of malice. Now, I can also assign it, if you will, or attribute it to, check this out. If we look at that and we go back and we say, well, this is what she learned. She's trying to do it again so she can heal it. Remember I said women, like we bring it up again because we want to figure it out. Men will just go, Now, that's not to say all men or all women. I want to be clear. It's something that I am seeing here as a pattern. Let's see. She's using other people. Oh, gosh. Kung Fu. You're on today. Kung Fu Panda says she's using other people to project her pain on. Yes. To regulate her emotions without doing any work to attach to others in a healthy manner. Yes. And I gotta say that one of the things I need to address there, though, is, and I want to just go back to it. You see, the problem is that any work that would require Amber to admit what she's done. She is telling the story. If you look at, don't even get, I know, I have to get started on her therapist. That woman, the blonde who can't remember anything, she's worse than me. She makes me look like phi beta 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 theta. You know what I mean? Like I can't remember where my keys are, but this woman can't remember parts of the case. Now, I think the biggest thing that I looked at with this person that is her oh wait, I gotta get back to this because I jumped again. Therapist, but I'm gonna come to that. Okay. This is tied in with the therapist. Amber is devoid of truth. Now, the way you can tell that she's terrified and has to lie. See, we manipulate when we're afraid to tell the truth. And this is something that Amber has gotten down to with a fine art. Now, look at the two people. Look at her, look at Depp, and you can look at When Depp tells a story and they say, well, did you say this? He goes, I believe that's what that says. He's saying, yeah, I did this. I'm ashamed of it. He, in fact, what's interesting is in their texts, he says he's Steve, I think, or she calls him Steve. I don't remember who does what in there, but I think that was an attempt, like to pretend that she was going to keep him secret. Like, people won't know about these texts if you make up another name. Duh. She recorded so much in this that I have to tell you, she put on the case during the marriage. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm pretty sure, and I know that someone else said this to me early on. One of the things I noticed is that, when he was kicking the cabinets, that was on or about the day that his mother died. So I do need to say that her filming him on that day not only has bravado, she knew he was not going to come after her because he was too upset about his own mother. See, why else would you film it? She has him grabbing for the red wine, but there's just the things that he noticed early on, that Depp noticed when he said, I would come home every day, and the one day she was on the phone, so I took my boots off. She was really upset when she didn't get to take my boots off as she did every day. Why? It's because Amber Heard is empty. She's an empty vessel, and she plays the role she thinks she needs to play to get what she wants to get. Now, that in and of itself tells you that there's something really wrong there. I don't think Amber can be genuine with anybody. And I want to find it for this other video I'm working on for you guys. There's a video, and I think some of you might have seen it, where she's being interviewed for one of her movies, and it wasn't Aquaman, it was a different one, where she's on camera and she's like, no, I wasn't there. I wasn't in Toronto. Excuse me, could you please get people? And her entire demeanor becomes this mean girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, she literally goes into if it was almost like a split personality, it was almost like she just down the middle went, I wasn't in Toronto. She really was rude to this reporter. And then she's like, could you please get everybody to stop? It's very distracting. And I'm trying to do this and I can't concentrate. And you're like, wow, like that level of mean girl is off the Richter scale. I've not seen that. And when you see that completely convinced me that Amber is very violent, because then in the next 5 seconds, when she comes back, she says, okay. And the other reporter says, would you like to start again? She says, yes. And then all of a sudden she's like this bubbly, she's Amber again. And it's like, are you freaking kidding me? I just watched, what did I watch? The fact that this woman is this way is off the Richter scale. Relearn your truth. Jess said, I hope she gets help for the sake of her child. The cycle needs to stop. Well, here's the thing. I have found that one of the only reasons anyone ever gets help is when their child turns against them, or someone they find important. Now, one of the things that I think here is I'm gonna make a supposition here. I'm not saying it's accurate, but when I learned that Elon Musk, I know I mentioned this earlier, but Elon Musk had put in he was trying to get the eggs, the fertilized eggs that he and Amber had put together. He was trying to get them destroyed. She refused. So I am thinking that those eggs were used for a surrogate. So it really is her and Musk's child, but we're not going to know until we see the child, a little older. And I think that, Musk wants to stay out of what's going on now. And that's kind of what, oh yeah, I mentioned that already, Ashley. Ashley just said I already read the personal assistant statement earlier in this broadcast. I know, Rachel, thank you. I think Elon Musk, he's how do you say, he's trying to get a beautiful woman, a smart woman, a singer, think he was just like collecting, and I don't think he was very sweet. Let's see. The quick shift, Rachel again said, is what Dr. Curry describes as a symptom of BPD. I think that that's something we really have to look at, is that I've seen that when my abuser was BPD. I think that the thing that I noticed is that he was able to switch on a dime. It was really scary. Oh yeah, DNA on a newborn, sure. Amber causes her own drama. Yeah, of course she does. We all know that. Let's see. That's a given. Watch her on the video where Johnny was trying to get her Mustang redone and overhauled. That was funny. Oh my God, that was so funny. It looks borderline personality order. Okay, so I'm gonna jump onto some of the other stuff I have, and because I did take tons of notes and I want to cover them. Okay, so there's a couple things that one of the oh gosh, the moment when Amber sees Johnny coming toward her and she was on the stand, she goes like this fake, oh my gosh, he's going to come get me. And it's like, really, drama queen? Now that's a drama queen, okay? This woman is like off the chart. And it was just like, come on. First of all, Johnny's half blind in one eye, so he probably didn't even see her because there was a guard right there. Secondly, when he does see her and the guard stops him, he walks over and goes like this toward his people, like, oop, I better get away. Like it's, you have to remember, the person who's abused rarely looks in the eyes or at the person who's abusing them. Rarely. Who's staring them down the whole time? Amber. Who is like not looking? Johnny. He's over it. He's so over her. He just wants her out of his life. You could see it. Okay. There's another thing that I really love, this one body language expert, and she talked about the tense that Amber used, especially when he slapped me. She says, he slapped me, he slaps me, slapped me. And she said that she repeated it. And one of the things that I picked up there too is that when you can't remember the tense, when you're out of tense, like if you're, most people say, yes, that did happen. The idea that it is happening in the present is something that's being memorized and recited. It's really not something that happened. So a lot of times people will, people will pretend remember, but what they're actually remembering is another memory. Oops, get myself. Another memory that kind of slams together. And when she says that she thought he was laughing and then he slapped me across the face, I feel like, maybe that's true. I don't know. But one of the things that I really believe, and I've got to share this with all of you in this case, is that when you tell somebody, I don't know about you guys, but when you're talking to somebody and you want to say, hey, this happened, right? Do you know a woman who stops to even breathe when she's telling a story about abuse? I mean, think about it. We're going, okay, so then he came in and I was standing here, they were standing there and he hit me. And you're going, whoa, slow down because I need to hear you. Amber has so many stops and starts, and she picks up in places where she skips entire situations. That's not like the way you tell a story of abuse. Those stops and starts are like she's trying to remember things. And I think that's very important. Okay, yeah. I think the near encounter gave him cold chills. I was like, the near encounter, like, I think he was like, meaning he just went, oops. My take on what Johnny did when he saw her, like finally she's right there. When he saw that, he went, oh, excuse me. I think it was kind of like big drama. That was my take on what he did, because it's like, he's sick of her drama. I'm getting sick of her drama too. Lori! Oh, Lori, so good to see you, girl. Thank you for the super chat. What is going on in your world? So we're going to talk more about abuse, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. I think that, listen, I think that he might have vomited. I don't know the degree to which his drunkenness was. I mean, when I was drinking, I definitely, had a few instances, but I will tell you this, anytime I did throw up, I remembered. So I can't say for sure, but well, not every, but listen, when you're, when alcohol has you and you're in the disease or monster or whatever you want to call it, you know, you're not a full person. You're there's a deep depression going on. There's a rage at yourself, and there is a level of self-hate and destruction going on. And I think that there's no other reason that then he would be with Amber Heard, except of course she's beautiful, but the allure of her abuse, and that he would get the same level of hate spewed at him that his mother spewed at him. There's an attraction there, and the attraction is not just, I mean, it's very hard to get away from. It's very hard to leave someone who matches that, dynamic. um yeah, I think, and Belle just said, I've had acid reflux too, and so I understand that. And I think the biggest thing we can look at in all of this is that, when we look at the two testifying, we can look at the difficulty that Johnny Depp had and choosing his words carefully and saying what happened to him. We are really looking at, I believe, a truth, because he goes through every single step, right? And I think that's super, super important. I think we're looking at something here that, is a twisty. It has flipped. We are seeing a woman who is abusing a man, and she has gone on to become a serial abuser. I mean, we even saw Elon Musk with a black eye. Now, Musk is, I think, kind of a bit of a classy guy in that way. He's not a drinker. He's just going to stay away. Healthy people tend to get away from people like that. It's kind of like they see it, they kind of get sucked in, because there is something very lovely about someone who wants to be your every world. The problem is that when you don't have anything inside, right? When that person has nothing inside and everything about their life is you, it's very dangerous. It's because that means that they are looking to fulfill themselves by almost destroying you. They have to take you in to such a degree. This goes back to what, forgive me, I think somebody said earlier. I think that one of the things that we want to look at in all of this also is the idea that, when Ted Bundy would just, the next day it was like, well, that was over. But meanwhile, he left this wrath of, and Amber's that way. Amber leaves this kind of like wake of destruction, and she just thinks she's helped everybody. She even describes her conversations with Lily Rose regarding Lily Rose's father's drinking. That's something you don't talk about. You're not friends. You're not buddy buds. You, Amber, are an adult, okay? You are an adult, and you don't get to bring up any child's father's flaws to that child. And I guarantee she was talking smack to Lily Rose about it. But you see, she probably did it in a way that is very enticing, like, oh, I'm just so concerned about your dad. He's really drinking a lot. And he could, anybody can die from drinking. Can you imagine that, like, terrorizing a child like that? Now, here's the thing. Even if it's true, that's not Amber's place, right? I mean, there is a fine line there. So some of us can even say, oh no, she has a right. She needs to tell the child. Well, the problem is that he wasn't doing that when he was with Vanessa and his children. So, I think the other thing you have to look at is Amber throws in, as Kung Fu Panda just said, unimportant details, right? Like, this is actually quite astounding. When Johnny says he turned around and he got clocked in the back of his head, she like decked him. Didn't she say he did that to her later? I really think that Amber is retaliating against the stuff that happened to her as a child. And she is looking at it as, but that happened to me. See, that happened to me and he did that. So it's okay that I say this. Yeah, I really think the other thing I want to say is she didn't dump Elon Musk. I gotta tell you, he probably ran and he probably made it. He gave anything she wanted. Elon Musk gave $850,000 to the ACLU in her name. He probably did it to get rid of her, if you think about it. You know, this is all this woman wants, is she wants to control and manipulate that circumstance in the way it is. So we have to look at, you know, the idea of her loving this drama where she can come out and go, oh, I didn't vomit in my sleep. I'm not the one who looks bad. Look at me, you know, look at him. I mean, the thing is that she is someone who loves to steal the identity of another person. It's like, yeah, do you ever watch those movies? You know, those scary movies, the ones like Beware of the Roommate. You know, the roommate who comes in and starts wearing your clothes and starts behaving like you and even repeats your words. And you go, I always say that. Why are they saying that? You know, like, that's what she is. She's got nothing inside. And you can even see the vacantness in her movies. And I'm going to tell you something. She did all those movies because of Johnny Depp. This girl doesn't have any level of talent. In fact, they said that Aquaman 2 is in the can and they've reduced her role to almost 10 minutes. I'm just saying. Let's see that she left him in let's see. And he's commented, I was really in love with her. You know, what she's talking about, this is a comment about Elon Musk. And I want to say, oh, right. Okay. I'll talk about that in a minute. Elizabeth Light. I think that it's at the end of the day, I think it doesn't really matter in this scenario because she got the mileage she needed out of Elon. You see, you have to remember she was putting all these things together to make Depp jealous. I think she wanted to keep playing this game with him. And I think the other thing to remember is that, you know, she also has what do you call it? She had a domestic violence against her wife before Johnny, right? So this is when I say this to you guys, there's a pattern in her life of this. And, you know, yes, we see some crazy drinking from Johnny in the past, but, you know, trying to kill yourself, like leaving Las Vegas, unfortunately, is not what we're looking at here. We're looking at someone who specifically and deliberately is stealing someone else's identity because they think that will make them that person. See, she thinks that she is as big, but now bigger because she's put Johnny Depp down. She is basically what they do is they envelop that person and they destroy the person so much that they look like the victor. And then what happens? They win. Because that person goes on to other successes, they get to do other things. They've been, you know, lauded in the community. The problem is that she never counted on here that Johnny Depp is an absolute beloved man. Okay, Prit Twist, woo! Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it and. Welcome. I don't know. Have I seen you before? Okay. Her stories are so fantastic that we know someone's lying. Thank you. It's impossible not to choose a side here. She's been smart until now. I so agree with you. And you know, and I am gonna say that is very true because one of the things that you're talking about, it's funny you talked about your handle is Prit Twist. And I want to say I talk about the twisty way that things go because she has been smart. She thought she won because what she wanted to do was destroy Depp enough where she would steal the fame from him. See, she got Aquaman. She got, you know, all of these big films that are kind of starting to come her way because She became the it girl because she downed the mighty dragon, and she thought she was going to ride on Depp's demise. Now, right? Kristen, what you doing, girl? Let's see. Thank you for that. That's a super, I don't know what super sticker is. Do you guys know? I don't know what that is, but thank you for it anyway. I appreciate it, you guys. I really do. One of the things about this, though, is that it will backfire. Just like, honestly, guys, just like canceling people will backfire. And the reason I say that is because I still live with that thing my dad said to me when I was little. We still have those ideas that good will always overcome evil. And I do believe that there's a Shakespearean quote that's, and believe me, I'm not doing it justice, but it is the idea of there's a bit of bad in the best of us, and there's a bit of good in the worst of us. And in AA, they say we all have a right to be here. And I think that the tragedy here is that I think that she, meaning Amber, I think she's going to be taken down just like McCarthy was taken down. If we look at the, I want to say McCarthy, you remember the McCarthy hearings in the 50s. And I'll go, for some of you, in case you don't know, Senator Gene McCarthy started the scare of communism in America. And everybody was like, oh my gosh. And he reported people whose careers were destroyed. And this really happened. And I think that, if we look at the era of her father, that may be something to do with it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dis. I appreciate that. So one of the things I want to say, and by the way, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I might be looking at your, I might be watching, I don't know if you have a channel, but I know, I think I'm watching your channel, but, okay, I'm from Iceland. I'm a Johnny Depp fan of 38 years. You know something? And I want to tell, I think I've said this before, but is anybody new here? Anybody new hasn't been with me before? So I'm going to, how old is Amber Heard? She's 36 now. She's 36. Okay. My father, when did that start? My father, watched 21 Jump Street. I never watched it. I didn't even know who Johnny Depp was, except my father would talk about him all the time. And I'll never forget, and I said this, but I never forget, I was in the kitchen and I was getting ready to head out. My dad said, hey, the show's on, this 21 Jump Street. And I went, Papa, you watch that? I don't watch that thing. Why? I don't understand. He said, Tori, just once watch this thing with me. This kid, this guy, Depp, he's brilliant. And I go, that? It's like saying something like The Monkees, or, that show, or what was it? Like, it's like saying somebody who's like, who cares kind of thing on reality TV is brilliant. Like, I wouldn't look, maybe they are, but it always stuck with me because my father was never wrong about those things. When he looked at somebody and said, this guy has the it, he's got it. And you need to see what kind of artist he is. And I think that's a reason that Johnny Depp fans are standing up, because he is a great artist. Why should we be deprived of his art? Okay. There are many people that have done bad things, and he has, said, I did do some bad things here. I did not behave to the best of my ability. Kathy, what's going on? Kathy Bennett, what's going on? Oh, thank you, Kathy. Appreciate the super chat. Let's see, what are we saying here? And Kathy, you're the bomb diggity, so thank you. Okay, did you know Johnny speaks 5 languages fluently? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by any of this, because the thing to remember about Johnny Depp is that he is an artist. And this is going to tie in, you guys. I'm going to do this video. I'm going to film it, okay? Because I feel like that's something that I want to film, and it's going to, for those of you here, I'm going to put it up on Tuesday. So it's going to be pre-made, but it is about the one thing that Johnny Depp needs to do that will change every dynamic in his life. So I'm going to talk about that because it's a spiritual thing. And so I don't want to do it necessarily here. It's kind of like some of the work that I do. But anyway, I do find JD fascinating. He almost sounds English and Scottish. He sounds brilliant. He really loved Hunter Thompson, and Hunter Thompson was brilliant too. There's a brilliance, and I call it, in the old days, the old fashioned way, used to be, he's mad. Like, a mad scientist who had a crazy idea and did something and it changed the world. And obviously lingo has changed, but there is a madness to Johnny Depp. There's a madness to Hunter Thompson. But one of the things I want to say to you is Amber acted as if she read, okay? She was so well read, and she read Hunter Thompson. Bull dinky. If that girl reads a comic strip, I'd be surprised. I'm not kidding. I mean, I do not think she's anywhere near the intellectual level of Depp, but I do think that she's good at fooling people. I think she had him fooled. Because look, let's face it, men don't think with this. You know what they think with, and no offense to any guys, but it's the thing I talk about a lot in some of the other videos, but about the dynamic, the energetic dynamic is a man has to be physically attracted. He decides with his eyes. Why do you think men go out with some of the like the most vapid women, but they're gorgeous, right? Because he's going, okay, I see it. And then what happens with women is we listen to the deal. We hear the deal. 2 ears, as Judge Judy says, 2 ears. We listen doubly to the deal. What's the deal they're giving us? Security? Are they giving us a family? Are they giving us a home? Are they giving us whatever, right? Now, by the way, not all women, not all the time, okay? This is kind of what I'm talking about with Depp sees her and he's like, whoa. And then she turns around, I bet you $20 that she did her homework. And she knows, obviously, Hunter Thompson is a huge idol. Suddenly, she's well-read in Hunter Thompson and can speak all of this stuff because she has nothing inside. So she's going to do everything she can to make this man think that she is the one. And I think that it's very easy to fall in love with yourself. Johnny Depp fell in love with the deal. He saw and watched, right? Remember, visual. He saw and watched the things she was doing early on. And he dismissed some of it that he knew was kind of like, because why? You guys know why. Okay. Let's see. Just says, I know she did not show the emotions of a domestic violence. No tears, no feelings when she said, oh gosh. Okay. Can we just talk about her testimony there? I don't know if she was snorting coke. Chris Abishire 82. Chris says, did you see the video of Amber snorting coke from her tissue? She's that bold and confident that she literally snuck drugs in and did them on camera in front of the world, even with officers around. I don't know that that's what happened. I didn't see any of that. I did see the tissue. I saw her doing something, but I don't know what she was doing. I can't say. Exactly. Thank you, Glam Dolly. Hey, good to see you, doll. Glam Dolly, good to see you. Not all women, not all men. Exactly. This is why, I just had this conversation, and I know I'm dipping into dangerous territory, but I just had this conversation with a friend who we each have different points of view about pro-choice, pro-life, right? And I'm not going to get into that in this conversation, but what I am going to say is that not all liberals think this, and not all conservatives think this. People were so judgmental in terms of lopping everybody into one category. And you can't in this kind of situation with domestic violence. There are so many points of view. And when we look at that, even when I'm talking about with the pro this, pro that, it automatically, because people have they come from different worlds and different perspectives, you're going to have those moments when you can't communicate. You can't have that conversation. And it's very hard to stay adult. And that is what I think if I had to say to all of you, I think that's the real purpose for me of doing some of this, is that it's all about communication, you guys. That is probably the most difficult thing for anyone. And when I'm listening to Johnny Depp on those tapes, you have to admit, and guys, I know that you'll agree with, some of you anyway, will agree with me on this. He did try to say, look, baby doll, we got to talk. We got to work this out. Because why? Because he had that skill set. The problem is, it's like trying to negotiate with Putin, right? We're looking at that and going, really? You want to have peace and love talks with Putin? He's insane. So when you have someone that is so wound up, right, in a point of view, like, Amber is, right? The only thing she can do is attack, 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 because what she's trying to get is she's trying to get to twist and bend him into apologizing the way she thinks her father should have apologized to her mother and to her. See, when you abuse someone or when you try to leave or create drama, right, you're doing it because you want something from that person that you can't say because you don't know. So when we're watching Amber going, and I love him, and there's no tears, guys, there's no tears. Like, I'm looking and going, tears, none. Hello. Mariah, I love that. Mariah Depp. Johnny Depp is a true victim. Thank you. And she is using Kate Moss' staircase story. Exactly. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm going to mention that too. She's using his kids against him like he's a bad dad. It's all insane. I agree with you, I'm like, I know. I'm with you 100,000 million%. And the reason I say this is because when we look at everything Amber's doing, she's using everything good about him and turning it against him. She's using his love for his children. She's using the staircase with his sister. I don't buy it. I don't buy that he would push this girl down a staircase. And I don't believe that Amber was trying to protect her sister. I don't think Amber wanted to protect anybody. I think she really tried to make it that way. And the other thing I have is, where's her sister? Why isn't her sister testifying? I mean, like, don't you think she should? I mean, if she was almost pushed down the stairs by Johnny Depp, she should. Why are these people not testifying? And the reason they're not testifying is because there's nothing there. There's no there, you guys. There's nothing except what Amber's saying. Now we're going to talk about the therapist. So I think that's super important. I'm glad you said that, Dissa. Thank you. Black Rose, rock on. Girl, good to see you. I'm just looking over here, you guys. Some of you don't know. I haven't been on in a while, and I love interacting with all of you. I think it's part of their fun is to say, hey, how are you to people? Yeah, they're gonna run out of time soon. I agree. Stargirl just said that. Michelle, the Lightworker, said, and that's where their childhood trauma is all about. I agree. However, there's another piece to it. And when I teach, when I work with the Chakra Wisdom Oracle, one of the things I talk about is this. I tell this story about diving under the wave, and that's about understanding that when there's a tsunami coming at you, the energy that's coming at you, how to work with it, and how to get a clear sense of what's really going on. And I'm going to say this because even those of us that do light work or readings or what have you, my job, okay, you guys, I know some of you are going to be like, what? I'm going to say this. My job is to make my job obsolete. I believe that you have in you the faith, the religion, the beliefs, the ideas that you need in this lifetime. And one of the things I think that's important is that what you really need from me or from any light worker or the Bible or whatever you choose, is you need to understand how to apply these things in your life. And that really means that, it's really just about getting new concepts and new ideas, or something that flips the dialogue, something that makes you go from, it's like this, to, oh, I never saw that before. Because one of the things, and I'm going to say this in terms of Amber, and I think this is super, super important. There's three modalities we have as humans, right? And I know some of you heard me say this before. There's what we know that we know, right? Like you guys, I know that I know how to boil an egg. Okay. So you guys know how to get dressed. Okay. You know that, you know that. Then there's what you don't know. Like I know I don't know all the psychological terms that people use with this stuff. I know I don't know that. Okay. And I don't profess to. I kind of feel like I play one on, but I don't really know the terminology. I just know the feelings and the actuality of things. Then behind us, okay, this is what we don't know. This is where we rely upon God. We rely upon prayer. We rely upon, when we talk about light and light workers, that's really bringing light down from God and asking him to work through us. So that's what those modalities are. When you have people that only focus on what they know, and they can't understand there's these other two modalities, you have a situation where it's going to be very hard for Amber to really become healthy. It's going to be hard for her. Okay, let's see. Oh, the tattoo. The guys in the chat, everybody's talking about the tattoo. The tattoo when it says Wino forever, because he removed the Winona thing. In Amber's sick mind, I believe she still cares about he still cares about his exes, and Amber's jealous. Amber's jealous. The biggest thing that Amber's jealous of is that even with all his drinking, I want you to get this, guys. This is the most important thing I say today. Well, maybe not. Maybe there's other things you'll get. But Amber is jealous that she sees this drunk, right? She's duplicating her father, remember, right? She has to recreate daddy. So she's kind of pushing everything on him. This drunk, this impossible drug addict, this monster, right? She's trying to wrap her head around how come everybody loves him and I always get the short end. She can't understand that an alcoholic does not mean that someone is not accomplished. It's just like saying someone who has cancer is not accomplished. Alcoholism is an ism. It is a spiritual disease. Get that? It is a spiritual disease. And what does it mean? It means spiritually that we have no context of how we are, in a sense. We have put that drinking, that thing, above what we value most. Look at it this way. Do you remember when Johnny Depp was with Vanessa and his kids? You didn't hear a lot about him falling down drunk at home. Because you see, that's the honor. That's when we follow through on things that we know matter to us. He talks about his kids, his children, as being the most important people in his life. Everything he does is for his kids. So if that's true, then the reality is that not every drunk should be on Skid Row. You're not going to see that. And this is what infuriates Amber more than anything. She cannot understand how everybody just doesn't love her because she's put up with this horrible alcoholic. And I think if you look at it that way, you can start to see where she's rationalizing all this in her brain of like, he's just a loser alcoholic. Look, he's just an old dumpy drunk man. I'm the talent. I'm the beauty. You know, everything she says, she twists. And I think that Stargirl just said, jealousy is an emotion that reminded me to check my boundaries. You know, I want to talk about boundaries for a second too, and I'll get to that. But yes. Kathy, I'm just going to, boom, said it best, you know. And you guys know, some of you who know me, you know that I speak a lot about kindness. You know, say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. Kindness costs nothing, but you have no idea when you're hitting people and how much you can hurt someone by that. So I really want to say that. Thank you, Kathy, for that, you know, that insight and that wisdom. Appreciate that. Where are we here? Black Rose. Woohoo! Thank you for that, sweet pea. How are you? And, you know, I know you were going through a lot. And I got to tell you, you guys, I remember everybody. So like when I see people that, you know, say, you remember me? I'm like, of course I do. So I just want to say that, don't get me started on Jennifer Grey, because I know her. I met her, put it that way. Thank you for the super sticker. I really appreciate that. Okay, so let's talk about those two people. There are two exes that said his alcoholism was out of control. Ellen Barkin. And remember who Ellen Barkin married. She married one of the biggest drunks ever who was very abusive. And she went to, you know, I'm going to say hypothetically, maybe, don't know for sure, went to, you know, a 12-step program. We also know, just Jennifer Grey has been very outspoken about it. She's sober and blah, blah, blah. She did not get along with Patrick Swayze. So we have to look at these women as being like, you know, look, and I've been that way in my past. I'm not going to lie to all of you. Like, you know, if you've been through alcoholism as a child, you're hypersensitive. Is he drinking? Oh, he's having a drink. And it doesn't mean the person's an alcoholic. It just means he's having a drink. And if someone gets drunk, that doesn't mean that they are an alcoholic for life. It means they're drunk. And it's very difficult to separate out your own experience of someone who gets drunk and is not an alcoholic necessarily, and someone who gets drunk and who is. Now, I don't know. I don't know about Johnny Depp. I do know that he tried to get sober. And I'm going to tell you one thing. If I say another thing, here we go. Here's the other brilliant thing that he knows, and that, guess what? Amber Heard said something brilliant. She said, if I'd have known that I shouldn't have gone to rehab with him, why didn't they tell me? Girl, you should not have been there. She wanted to control everything. And the thing is, I really think that being at that rehab gave her more stories about him. Because you see, when you're going through any kind of detox, you don't remember. You don't remember things. And I detoxed, and I remember that I didn't remember. There's moments when you're like, look, I think Johnny knows he has a problem, and that's his problem to solve. It's not ours to solve. But what it is important to look at is Amber Heard telling the truth about Johnny's repeated severe abuse? And I think in my world, no, I don't think she's telling the truth. I think she's repeatedly lying. And I'm going to talk about her therapist next, because he likes to party, but she knew this going in. Thank you, Alicia. Alicia Nelson just said it. He likes to party. She knew this going in. But here's the thing. Sometimes the person who has been victimized by an alcoholic growing up, and those of us who had, alcoholic parents, maybe, she knows what we do is we try to drink with them. We try to party with them. We try to out-party them. And you see, she was trying to mimic who he was in order to become him. See, you have to remember everything he did, Amber copied. Okay. Okay, it says, my pal's a UK actor, started with Depp on a big movie. JD was kind, respectful, humble. My pal's teen daughter visited the set as a JD fan. JD met her again at the premiere, greeted her like an old friend. This is the nature of Johnny Depp, okay? This is who he is. And I'm going to say something else that, y'all, I learned this from Wayne Dyer. Who you are, okay? It's like squeezing an orange. What comes out? Orange juice. When you put someone under pressure, what is really inside will come out. What we saw from Johnny Depp was his inability to cope with the pain of his life, of his entire life, was soothed by alcohol and drugs. You know, I don't know about you, but I have never seen many violent pot smokers. Okay. Have you? I don't know. I a couple, but generally, okay. So, yeah, right. Exactly. Okay. Patrick Swayze was one of my idols, like Johnny Depp. Kung Fu, you rock. Let me see this. Okay. This is saying this. I cried a lot when Patrick died. He was abused by his wife, Lisa. Look, I don't know about their relationship, but what I do know is that they loved each other for a long time. And I don't know. I can't say about Patrick Swayze. And I felt that we lost we lost a soulful man when we lost Patrick Swayze. Very soulful man. And Depp is that man too. And, I can't wait to do this. Yeah, I can't. Okay. So let's see. I think Johnny, having more friends sober and his age, he will get it. She knew all of it going in, his lifestyle, his age, yet she mirrored him to have something in common with him. Net Detective said that, and I agree with you. I really agree. I think you're right on. Here you are, Kung Fu. Okay. Kung Fu, thank you for the super chat, by the way. They're both trying to heal their childhood in very different ways. You're right on. So what I'm going to do, you guys, I'm going to finish the therapist thing. So I wanted to let you know. I really want to do this video. I'm going to do a video and post it because I see the one thing that Johnny needs to do to change his entire future and past. There's always something sometimes, like when I do multi-generational healing work, a lot of times I can look into someone and see, and it comes from what he said. It comes from what he said. And I want to do a video on that because I want to do it like without interaction. So it's not going to be a long video, but it's going to be a video that I post on. I think I said I was going to post it Tuesday. For those of you that are subscribers, if you're not a subscriber, ding the bell. For those of you that are subscribers, I do send out on my community page when you'll get a notice when that's going to go live. And then after that, I think I'm putting that up Tuesday. I think Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to do a talk about that. So I think that's very important to address that multi-generational healing piece and what Depp needs to do to change the future of his own children, to help them to such a degree, because I can see that his son is kind of taking on a little bit of the pain. And so I'm going to talk about that, but I don't want to get into it here again, just because I want to finish what we're talking about right now. Oh, Mrs. G, I agree with you. What JD's going through breaks my heart. And you know what? Amber Heard did marry him for money. Let's just say it, okay? But more importantly, I think she married him to steal his identity. Have you ever heard of, okay, this is like a weird thing to say, but years ago I was doing a reading, and I don't really do readings anymore. When I work with people, it's more about eliciting what their truth is and then helping them see it. It's not about me reading the future. But even as I said that, where are you, Miss? Okay. So years ago, I was doing a reading, and it was like, I couldn't figure out this friend of mine. I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to make a name up, Paul. And I kept saying, this is really strange. And he said, what? I said, it's almost like there's two of you, but there's only you. Whoa, I don't understand that. It's like it just disappeared. And my friend during the reading said, I actually had a disappearing twin. So there were two of us, and then there became one of us, right? So it's like in the womb, sometimes you will see early on, like you'll see two, the twins, and then one just gets absorbed into the other. It's kind of like a strange phenomena. However, what happens and can happen in that case is that when someone comes out, and I think that what Amber is seeking energetically is an identity. I think the problem, you guys, and I'm going to say this, let's face it, Amber's gorgeous, right? And we can say ugly in other ways, right? Because you can look at like people who are absolutely stunning and just see an ugliness in them, But I think that Amber is this quintessential, at least she wants to be this beautiful, she wants to be seen like Marilyn Monroe. Okay. I think most women who are in that position probably do. The thing is that she is like what do they call it? A succubus? I forget what it's called, but it's something where the woman just devours the man. That's succubus, right? Didn't they say that like on South Park or something? I forget where I got that. Again, I'm not a therapist. But it really is where she has systematically tried to take everything of his life for herself. The issue is that she can never become who she's not. She can't become Johnny Depp. She can't become that 40-year career. She can't become that man that has created a life and yes, he drank too much. We know that, Just Me says, I believe this is about the twin syndrome. Without getting personal, I have a close person to me that is that. Okay, cool. And it's interesting because I think there is something about like taking in that idea. Glam Dolly, Heard and other, thank you, by the way, Heard and other narcissistic abusers are chameleons, parasites. Now, again, I'm not going to call her that because I'm not a therapist, but I will say that whatever she is demonic in this. And here's the interesting thing. We're seeing this played out right in front of us, you guys. We are seeing, this is to me what possession kind of looks like. Because you see, we used to believe those lies. Many of us believed someone who, well, they said it, so I guess it's true. No, that's the lie about you, about me. Don't take that on, because if you don't take it in, you don't have to work it out. Okay. So, truth bombs. Okay, they're chameleons, they're parasites who suck on the very essence from the talented people they target. She even dresses like Depp. I believe she's gay. Glenn Dolly, she was married to a woman prior, and I do believe that she has much more simpatico with women, and I think she probably flaunted that in front of Depp, which is why he probably said, stop coming on to my woman, stop this. Because I don't know, I'm sorry, you guys, I don't know anybody who wouldn't go, come on, what are you doing here? My abuser did something similar to me. It's like suddenly he's best friends with anyway, it happens, okay? Because it's kind of like, then if you call them on it, you go, what the hell is this? You're the crazy one. So you have to remember that every little single step that she takes is like a twisty. She goes, oh, here, I'm going to put that right here. And then she goes like this, and he goes, oh my God, look, a spider. And she goes, oh, how did that get there? See, so that she can raise his pitch up, whatever that is, and then tape it. Because I guarantee she had things in mind long before she married Depp. Just, Bell. Amen. Okay. Let's see. Hey, I really want to say, shout out to Black Rose. You're just like a gift. So thank you. I'm so glad to see you here. Her acting is bad. I have to tell you, after this, I was like, well, I'm just going to look. She looks so fake. The only role that she actually did well in was with Depp, because he was teaching her. He said, don't do all this. He said, do it, be more still. He even said it on the stand. He coached her. Okay, let's see. Not anymore. She can't have the 40-year career. She ruined that for herself. I think that the only way for her to regain herself, if you will, is for her to come out and say, after some work, that she really did a number on some people. I don't know that she can. I don't know, let's see, my apology, said wrong. I know someone who was a twin. Twin-to-twin syndrome is a condition. The one twin is a dual personality. Yes. So thank you for saying that, just me. Oh gosh, yes. Dissa Mariah Depp just said, brilliant, by the way, thank you for the super chat. It says, Amber has the Jezebel demon. I believe it now. Now, I think you're right. I think that there is something almost, the reason I'm saying demonic in that sense, you guys, and I don't talk about that because I don't get into that world at all. It's not my world. But I will say this, that there's something very, very passive-aggressive, cruel about how she smiles when he is in pain on the stand. There is something incredibly cruel about her videotaping the cabinet incident, when I'm pretty sure Jules said this last week, that was right, I think, the day of or the day after his mother died. She actually got joy out of, proving that he was a bad person. And I think the problem is that, you can say, oh my gosh, they stole my pen. That's my pen, right? But when you take the pen to the thing of, she stole the entire book I wrote, now you're going too far. And the problem is that there's not enough There's not enough for Amber. She's how can you say, vociferous, like this kind of like she has to eat, she has to devour everything. But then look at how strange that is. I believe at some point she had an eating disorder. And what does that tell you energetically about her? That she takes in too much, but it's never enough. See, there's never enough to soothe that pain, because the moments when she does get that loving attention, that's an addiction. That's not love. Love is a verb, right? It's something, it's an active verb. It's like loving someone as you love them as they show up. And you know, you can't, okay. I don't know what's going on. Oh, they want me to achieve my goal today. Okay, I'll go achieve my goal in a minute. Let's see. What Amber's doing now is pure evil. Nothing to do with her mental illness. This is being done with intent. Oh, I lost that. But yes, I do agree with that. Oh, here it is. How long she rehearsed this in the mirror. Sharon Locke said, my heart breaks for this man. He was willing to put all of him out there to make his point of domestic violence. This is why I said last week, and I'm going to end in a few minutes, but I want to say this, that this is why I think what he's doing is incredibly courageous, because we need to see what real victims look like, and we need to see what real victimizers look like. And this is what I want to talk about. Now I remembered. Okay. Boom. I love you guys. So I'm going to, but I'll do another live on this. Let's see. I wanted to talk about, there's so much in here, you guys. I have like 5 pages of notes, and I'm not going to cover it all today. I'll probably do another live on it. Let's see. She really believes that she saved his life during detox. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to talk about the therapist who worked with Amber, not the therapist. I think that's the other one, the therapist that worked with Johnny's lawyers, right? She was hired by Johnny's attorneys to interview Amber and take these tests. And then the other therapist is the one who looked at everybody's stuff and decided that Amber was a victim, okay? But remember something, that, twisty people, they're really good at this shit. I mean, they are really good at taking stuff and going, and you go, oh, wow, that's real. And, they turn people against you. Do you remember, you guys, and I'm going to say this because I think it's important. Do you remember when you were in school? I don't know anybody who didn't have this happen. Okay. I'm looking at the chat. Anybody. All right. That one person who starts gossiping about you to make you look bad so that they can look good. It's like that's that mean girl, right? That mean girl who wants to put you down. And I remember early on, my dad used to say that if people are trying to put you down, it's because they're threatened by you. And this is something that, I saw very distinctly in Amber. And what I saw in Johnny Depp was another part of it, which is I saw the way I reacted to being put down. Like shut your effing hole, whatever those things were, F-ass, whatever, those things he said to her, I heard as defending himself against her crap. It was just ridiculous. Okay, so let's talk about, let's see. You read that very well, Mr. Rottenborn. I love that Rottenborn, I was like, oh. Yeah, Deborah, look at this. I'm just going to put this up because this is the kind of stuff that abusers do. They take a tragic situation, as you describe, Deborah, and they turn it against you later. They clock everything in here. They have, I learned after I got out of that abusive relationship that there is a fine line and you just don't cross it. You don't dredge up painful things, because you know what happens? The trust is gone. You've lost all the trust in that person. And that's the reality. I do agree, St. Mull. It is a smear campaign. Thank you, Rachel. let's see, Rachel Tansky says Dr. Curry was Depp's team. I liked her. And Dr. Hughes was Amber's team. I didn't like Dr. Hughes. You know what I thought of her? I thought she was very officious. Do you know what I mean? She kept saying, well, when a woman's abused, as if it's only women that get abused, okay? She specializes in women getting abused. I get that. I get why Amber's team would hire her. But can you answer for me why she never spoke to Johnny Depp? She never met him. She only read the reports, watched the videos or whatever was the little that was there. And yes, Rachel just says she seemed biased. I thought she was completely biased. I thought she was completely speaking out of both sides of her mouth. I just want to say Glam Dolly's right. Johnny Depp, and I'm going to tell you guys this, not only will he emerge from this stronger, but as I said, I believe that he can completely, and I don't say this often, he can completely overcome it and show people and leave an incredible legacy for his kids. But there's one thing he has to do. Like I said, public sees who he is and they love him. I agree. I agree. And, Karen J., I'm glad you said that. Detox, I'm just going to put it up here because I think it's true. Detox is life-threatening when you're an addict. This isn't something you just, it's Thursday, I think I'm going to go detox, you guys. I'll talk to you later. What the hell? And you can't detox cold turkey. In fact, I know people that, that have passed because of it. So, Glam Dolly said it. Dr. Hughes was like Amber, dislikable, aggressive, and totally biased. She did come across that way. I busted out laughing the first time Elaine went on a string of expletives. Oh, God, that was funny. The one thing, oh, well, Mr. Rottenborn, you should read the article. I really like that. When he said, Mr. Rottenborn, you should read the article, because all the articles were bullcrap. You guys know when we pick up we call them the rags, right? We used to call them the rags in LA. And most of the time they're making up stuff that they, like even Johnny on the stand, he said, I don't even know that person. That person were they there? Like he didn't know half of these people who were telling stories of what was going on in his home. Let's see. Yeah, I agree, Deborah. Okay. This is what I wanted to bring up, which was this. Hold on. Okay. I think, okay, I'm going to talk about the therapist in a minute, but actually, I think I'm going to save that for another. I want to just say this, which is that, okay, this was my take. And I said this earlier, but I want to bring it up again. You guys, do you notice how the victim often apologizes? The victim is always trying to share their truth. 1 second, I saw some. Oh, Dissa, thank you very much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. Amber was the only one that said she had PTSD. Yeah, she had PTSD, okay. I mean, I think she will have it after this trial. I'm going to tell you that. After this is over, I think she's going to have it. And I think it's going to be legitimate. The problem is she's cried wolf so many times, we're all going, yeah, right, Let's see. I don't think the jury will believe Amber Heard's psychiatrist over Johnny's. I think the thing is that the biggest thing that we have to remember is the people on the jury have to decide who the abuser was. And at no time did this woman interview Johnny Depp. Heard's therapist spent 29 hours listening to Amber, only Amber. And you know how Amber, God, she's a good editor, right? If we just took every moment that Amber had of that marriage, it would just be, look how good I look. And I said this well. It was just like this. It was almost as if you're watching this wonderful, person who was just walked in and subjected to this hate and anger. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I know that there are going to be people who disagree with me, and that's their prerogative. I just don't buy Amber's story. I think she's a liar. But I think the bigger piece of this, you guys, that I really want to address is that not only did Amber, in my opinion, lie, I think part of her really believes that she is fibbing for a very good reason, because she wants the world to see how mean and awful and horrible it is to deal with a star like Johnny Depp. And you can't take someone took my pen to, oh my God, they stole my computer in my house. She's gone from this to like this big blow up. Just tell the truth and nothing but the truth. And I don't believe, the only thing I do believe that's the truth in that sense is that I believe that she thinks she loves Johnny Depp. I think she believes that. And I don't know, it goes back to, I don't think she is capable of it. I think there's such a shell inside of her that hates herself so much that I really think that that's the only thing she can, she can say. Now, I want to read one of Johnny's texts. And I want to read this because this is one that the I forget which side it is, her side, plaintiff, okay, the her side read, and they read it so that it would make Johnny look bad. But I want you to notice that I don't see the abuse they see, and I wonder if you do. Okay, let's see. Okay. I don't even know what he's meaning in some of this, but he wrote this. Okay. It's a way I've let it go. Went too far. I tend to do that. I always regret it when I jump, or worse, when you jump. I don't want to be conditioned to continue that behavior. Therefore, I'll put in heavy word with Shrank. I'm sorry for being less, for your disappointment in me, for my behavior. I'm an effing savage. Gotta lose that. The devil is all around, right? I wish I were able to bring even just a glimmer of a smile to the pretty face of my most gorgeous of dreams and darkest nightmares. I love you far too much for you and I to be these heinous slinging insults like we did. It is not anything that I am particularly proud of to have participated in, and I regret giving it life because, MF, how and when we fight, little girl, how do we end up on the very edge of the precipice, and why? Wish I knew. God, and he says, damn, and know that you are right. I am well aware that I never should have become bigger than the moment, and that it will never again manifest negative experiences. It can be done. What a killer concept to visualize. Wish you were in this lunatic's proximity. Be careful out there. I adore you. And all I see in that, I see a man who is really trying to say, let's get this together, babe. I know what we're doing is wrong. I know that I shouldn't participate. I don't want to. And can we find a way back to each other? So I feel like, thank you very much, Rachel. Rachel said it. It sounds like he's holding himself accountable. And I don't think that should be used against him. I think that any person, okay, and I'm going to be honest when I say this, if I'm sitting on a jury and I hear that, I'm going to go, I think he's talking about how they both participate. But I don't think he is saying he's doing it. See, the issue really is, and it comes down to one thing. Did he abuse her? Was he a spousal abuser? And I think that there's that fine line, because in the law, technically, he did hit back. And I'm hoping that this is where I'm hoping that the jury sees it as he wasn't the instigator. She purposely, I think the biggest thing is she purposely, with malice intent and knowingly, put out a story that was mostly lies about him. He is not a spousal abuser. He is the victim of spousal abuse, and victims respond the way they respond. Some cower, some fight back, some run, some stay. There is no set way that any victim responds in all circumstances. And so what I want to say to all of you is we are going to unpack the therapist at another time. And I think we have to say that, that we need to look at this and unpack. When I say unpack, we need to dive under that wave that I talked about. And I'm going to talk about what that means on the next video. But I want to say that we need to dive under the wave and get to the truth of what's really happening. And what's the one thing that Johnny Depp said that he needs to fix? I didn't mention it today, that he needs to change immediately to save his own life. I'm going to do that in a video. I love you guys more than you'll know. There's an agreement that they'd not speak of each other after the divorce. Well, that went out we know, and I know that I just adore all of you, and I've really enjoyed today. Thank you so much. I will definitely post that on Tuesday. I may even come back tomorrow or the next day. It just depends, but I definitely will see you probably Tuesday or Wednesday. But if you haven't subscribed, please hit the bell, subscribe, because you will get a notice. I'm only sending a notice out to people who subscribe to the channel so that they know when I'm going to be on live. Because then it's just you guys. Okay. Love you guys. See you soon. Talk to you later. Have a fabulous Mother's Day. Bye for now.